A battle between a Central Georgia railroad and some neighbors is picking up steam. Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. I'm Frank Malloy. Last week, the Sandersville Railroad Company filed an amended petition asking the state to allow them to take more land in Washington and Hancock counties. They want to use that land to build a railroad to Hanson Quarry, but landowners have pushed back. Jessica Cha talked to the railroad about why they say they need the land and also heard from neighbors who say they want the railroad to stay out.
Some neighbors on Shoals Road say that the railroad company has been wanting to build tracks on their property since last year, and they're tired. This land has been in the Smith family for 97 years, but Mark and Janet Smith have been worried for the past year.
That could be taken away, not just from us, but from everybody who lives down through here.
Last year, the Smiths say they got a letter from the Sandersville Railroad Company.
I'm sending you this letter because some of your property will be required for the new project.
The company wants land to build a railroad that'll serve the Hanson Quarry down the road.
We didn't believe it.
The route would have passed right through the Smiths' backyard.
And we would have been able to see it from our house, hear it from our house.
Yes.
It would have been right there on top of us.
They said over a dozen neighbors would be affected too, and they voiced their concerns last year at a meeting with the railroad.
Push it further north, get it even further away from a lot of the homes.
President of the Sandersville Railroad Company, Ben Tarbutton, says they heard people and they moved the route.
In a lot of cases, we're almost a half-mile away from the homes.
But they say they still want to build the 4.5-mile rail spur, and they need 18 parcels of land to do it.
As a percentage of the total land that they own, it's a very small amount. We're going to be able to provide substantial annual economic impact. We're taking 150 trucks a day off the road, which is going to save on the wear and tear on county roads.
Tarbutton says the train would take one round trip a day and dirt berms would help reduce the noise. And he says the railroad would bring a dozen jobs. He says while some folks have agreed to sell their land, the railroad have asked the state for permission to take the land in case they can't agree on the sales. And while the route no longer runs through the Smiths' property,
He doesn't live here. They don't hear the noise. They don't smell the asphalt and the emissions from the truck.
In Sparta, Jessica Cha, 13 WMAZ News.
Ben Tarbutton says their absolute last resort is taking the land against the owner's consent. He says they want to come to an agreement, but landowners say they will continue to fight back. The Sandersville Railroad Company wants to take the property through a legal process called eminent domain. How does it work? Well, basically, state law says the government can take private land for the public good, or they can give companies like the railroad permission to do that if they prove they plan to use it to help the community. That could include a big development like a rail project or a power plant that could boost the local economy. The landowner must be compensated, and the amount must be based on the property's fair market value. But the property owner can go to court to challenge the decision to take their land, or they can argue they're not getting paid enough for their property. In 2005, by a 5-4 vote, the United States Supreme Court ruled it was legal for governments to transfer land from one private owner to another to support economic development.